As the Nigerian proverb goes, the arrow shot by the hunter can sometimes fly back to pierce the one who released it. This captures the unexpected turns in the pursuit of justice, where those enforcing the law may find themselves answering in the same courts they rely upon. Former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has now taken that path, filing a 1 billion naira fundamental rights enforcement suit against the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, the Chief Magistrate of the Magistrates Court of the Federal Capital Territory Abuja Magisterial District, the Inspector General of Police, and the Attorney General of the Federation over a raid on his Abuja residence. This na confirmed street news. Na waiting we hear with a report, but be sure say na confirm. Abeg, hit that subscribe button, like this video and drop a comment to help us grow and bring you undiluted news. The suit was lodged at the Federal High Court in Abuja on Friday, February 2026 by El-Rufai's lead counsel, Oluwine Iyamu, a senior advocate of Nigeria. It stems directly from events on February 19 when ICPC officers, accompanied by personnel from the Nigeria Police Force, searched House 12 on Mambila Street, Aso Drive, Abuja, around 2 p.m. They seized documents and electronic devices. A search warrant had been issued earlier on February 4 by the Chief Magistrate, but El-Rufai's legal team argues it was fundamentally flawed, lacking particularity, containing material drafting errors, being ambiguous in its execution parameters, overbroad in scope, and unsupported by probable cause. The originating motion claims the warrant was invalid, null, and void, rendering the entire operation unconstitutional and in breach of Sections 34, 35, 36, and 37 of the 1999 Constitution, which protect dignity, personal liberty, fair hearing, and privacy. Officers allegedly failed to submit themselves for search as required, and the warrant did not specify the items to be seized, vaguely referring only to the thing aforesaid. None of the seized items have been returned, leaving El-Rufai to contend with humiliation, psychological trauma, and emotional distress. If the intensity of this legal pushback amid high-stakes investigations is holding your attention, take a moment right now to like this video if you value stories on accountability and rights. Leave a comment sharing what stands out to you about the role of search warrants in governance, and subscribe so you stay updated as this case and others like it unfold in Nigeria's justice system. To understand the full weight of this development, it helps to place it within the rapid sequence of events that have defined El-Rufai's post-governorship period. The former governor, who led Kaduna State from 2015 to 2023, has faced layered scrutiny from federal agencies in recent weeks. On February 12, upon returning from abroad, security operatives attempted to detain him at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja, leading to a heated exchange captured in public reports. Days later, on February 16, the Department of State Services filed cybercrime charges against him at the Federal High Court over alleged unlawful interception of communications involving the National Security Advisor. He honored an invitation to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on February 17 or 18, where he was detained for questioning on alleged financial improprieties linked to his tenure, including contract awards and public fund management. Administrative bail was eventually granted late on February 18, but as he exited EFCC premises around 8 p.m., ICPC operatives took him into custody for separate probes into alleged abuse of office and procurement issues. The following afternoon came the residence raid, carried out while he remained in ICPC detention. This pattern of overlapping agency actions has raised questions about coordination in anti-corruption efforts, especially in a country where public officials often face post-tenure accountability drives. El-Rufai's legal team, through an affidavit sworn by his principal secretary Mohammed Shaba, has laid out 7 specific prayers before the court. They seek declarations that the invasion violated his fundamental rights and that any evidence obtained via the defective warrant is inadmissible in future proceedings against him. They also demand an order restraining the respondents from tendering seized materials in any investigation or prosecution, plus the immediate return of all items with a detailed inventory. The damages claim breaks down to 300 million naira for compensatory relief over trauma and distress, 400 million naira in exemplary damages to serve as a deterrent, 300 million naira in aggravated damages for the alleged malicious conduct, and 100 million naira to cover filing costs and legal expenses. The suit cites judicial precedents to argue that evidence gathered through unlawful means cannot stand, emphasizing strict compliance with the Administration of Criminal Act 2015 and the ICPC Act 2000 on how warrants must be obtained, executed, and documented.
Implications of this lawsuit reach beyond one individual's case. Politically, it tests the balance between aggressive anti-corruption enforcement and respect for constitutional safeguards, particularly in a democracy where former leaders frequently become targets once out of office. A ruling in El-Rufai's favor could set stronger precedents on the validity of such warrants, compelling agencies to tighten procedures and reduce risks of challenges that delay probes. Socially, it underscores public concerns about privacy and dignity in the face of state power, especially when raids occur without clear justification or proper safeguards, potentially affecting trust in institutions like the ICPC and police. Economically, prolonged legal battles involving high-profile figures divert attention and resources from governance priorities while sending signals to investors about the predictability of Nigeria's legal environment. On the security and rule of law front, the case highlights tensions between rapid investigations, often justified by the need to recover public funds, and the requirement for probable cause and specificity to prevent abuse. If the court finds the warrant defective, it could prompt reviews of how magistrates issue such orders and how agencies collaborate, influencing future operations across multiple probes. Public reactions to the filing have emerged swiftly along familiar lines in Nigeria's polarized discourse. Supporters of El-Rufai view the suit as a principled stand for the rule of law, arguing that even those under investigation deserve protection from procedural lapses and that unchecked agency actions erode everyone's rights. Online commentary often praises the move as courageous, with many calling for similar challenges where citizens feel overreached. On the other side, those who have long advocated for thorough scrutiny of past administrations see the lawsuit as a tactical delay, suggesting it distracts from the substance of corruption allegations and could tie up agencies in litigation while evidence potentially goes stale. Critics question the scale of damages sought, viewing it as an attempt to intimidate investigators rather than purely seek redress. Broader voices in civil society and legal circles emphasize the need for judicial clarity on warrant standards, hoping the case strengthens due process without undermining legitimate anti-graft work. The divide reflects ongoing national debates about whether accountability mechanisms sometimes overstep constitutional bounds. Looking ahead, the Federal High Court in Abuja will now determine the next steps, possibly scheduling a hearing soon after the suit's filing. A favorable outcome for El-Rufai could force the return of seized items, bar their use in prosecutions, and award substantial damages, potentially encouraging other public figures to pursue similar remedies. Conversely, if the court upholds the warrant's validity, it would reinforce the agency's operational latitude while possibly leading El-Rufai's team to appeal. In the wider context, the case runs parallel to his scheduled arraignment on February 25th on the separate cybercrime charges and ongoing ICPC detention. Resolution here might influence how other overlapping investigations proceed, shaping the pace and public perception of accountability efforts nationwide. Whatever the court decides, the matter is likely to remain in the spotlight, prompting discussions on reforming search and seizure protocols to better align enforcement with rights protections. As this latest chapter in a high-profile accountability saga continues to develop, your engagement helps keep these important conversations alive and informed. If this detailed look at El-Rufai's 1 billion naira lawsuit over the Abuja residence raid has clarified the legal and procedural issues at play, give the video a like, share your thoughts in the comments on the balance between investigation and individual rights, and subscribe for continued coverage of unfolding stories in Nigeria's justice and governance space. We'll bring you the updates as they happen.